guys, it's your girl Nae and you are locked into Trending, and today I have a very special artist, a bit different to what I usually have. We have a devotional singer, Shivali. Welcome to BritAsia TV.
Hi, thank you. Nice to be with you.
Amazing. So we're going to get all into your career, your life, your interests. But first, let's start off with your childhood.
Okay.
Because where did, your interest in like the devotional side of things, the spiritual side of things start from?
So I think it started at quite a young age. I was influenced by my great-grandmother, my great-aunts, and they would very enthusiastically be singing these devotional songs. And I think they were slightly brainwashing me, and I'd be doing the same. We had a little living room cult together.
As you do.
As you do. But then actually it became quite a personal choice. And I developed a very close friendship with God, whether you think he exists or not, in whatever form. But we developed this friendship and this love. And out of that love, I maintained the devotional singing, which then became influenced by R&B and hip hop and those things, as you know.
So what about the acting side of things? Did you ever pursue it? Where was the interest in that?
With the acting, I did. I went to film school. I started writing scripts. And so I'm actually I would say I'm more of a playwright and a screenwriter. But then when I would produce something, I would then act in it, typical diva. I'm I'm going to play my own role that I wrote. So did that in New York and then in London. And that continues to flourish and grow and then dip and then grow, as it does for all artists.
Of course. So your sound is very unique and we don't usually hear devotional songs in this kind of style. So what made you go that way?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, look, we have so much of every other genre, right? And when I was growing up, I absolutely loved religious music and devotional music. However, it was only ever presented in a traditional format of harmonium and tabla, and it was certain singers like Anup Jalota, Jagjit Singh, great singers, masters in the field. But they're all of a certain age, they're male, and there was no one really bridging that gap between the younger generation and the influence of music on them with devotional music, right? And so I grew up on R&B, hip hop, and then sort of EDM, electronic music influences. And I wanted to bridge the gap between the two and present devotional music in a format that the younger generation could identify with.
Yeah. Do you think it was a risk though? Did you ever have any doubts that this may not be received as well as I hope it is?
You know what? I didn't, but then I think that you get innovators and certain types of entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs who just think their idea is absolutely brilliant and they just don't really see any other option apart from their idea existing. And I sort of had a similar view. I thought this is going to be magnificent and there's a reason for it. And what I did, I was quite young. I was only 15. And I was producing it with Arjun, the singer-songwriter, who's my best friend. And we were making this music and I tested it out on people. And I saw that they loved it. But I never did it with the intention of being signed or making it my career. So when I got signed to Sony Music, I was extremely lucky. And I think the reason is that because I had started off by actually truly believing in what I was doing. And doing it out of love, and because I felt it served a higher purpose. And that purpose was, let's bring the British, Asian, Hindu youth back into spirituality, right? And even if they're not religious, it doesn't matter. And now, of course, when you have the whole yoga industry blowing up and you've got people who are not Hindu but are into devotional music or spirituality, they're really into this style of music.
Do you, I think with Bhajans or, with any religion, we all have something that's really traditional and really special and almost we gatekeep it and keep it how it is, right? So what you've done, you have developed it and evolved it to something that the youth can relate to. But did you ever think or have you ever been accused of maybe whitewashing it or commercializing religion?
Yeah, no, actually I haven't, only because I didn't make make it for a white audience. So my music attracts the Hindu diaspora. If they then attract a Caucasian audience, that's just to happen naturally or organically. That wasn't who the music was made for. So in that sense, I don't think it's very whitewashed, because when you look at like Bhangra, Bollywood, R&B, most British Asian kids, actually most Asian kids globally have grown up on that kind of music, right? So it is very much for them.
Yeah.
So in that sense, no. And then you had a second part to it that I thought was interesting. You said whitewashing. What was the second part?
Being commercialized.
Yeah, being commercialized. No, because I think if you do something in life that is based on good and pure intention, then that message carries weight.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it to become famous. I didn't do it to get signed to a major label. I didn't do it to just find some way to get into the industry. I did it because I fell in love with faith and spirituality and my relationship with God. And I studied my philosophy. So I can back everything up that I sing. I know the story behind it. I know where it comes from, right? So in that sense, there's a real framework grounding beneath the music that gives it substance. So then when people know that, then they know that you're not just doing something to make it commercial. You're doing it because you believe in it.
Yeah. What about the money side of things? So, you know, we have in the Gurdwara, let's say, you know, the people that do the kirtan, they're not getting paid to do that. And I think a lot of the times in religion, when people are singing these devotional songs, they're not getting paid to do this. Whereas, you know, you've had hit albums, you've had high performing albums on iTunes. So you are, you know, getting income from this. How was that balancing that, making money from your love of God? Because, you know, some people, when they have this amazing relationship with God, they're just doing it.
I think every artist has the right to earn, regardless, right? So firstly, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And secondly, does Jay Shetty not make money from what he's doing? And he's selling philosophy. Doesn't Deepak Chopra, when he writes his books, don't all the yogis receive Guru Dakshina? And don't they receive money for when they do their kathas and things like that? They do, because they have to earn for their keep, right, and their ashrams. So money is pouring into the industry, right? So,
but then should religion be monetized? If we are just doing this for the love of God?
Well, I think it depends on your intention, right? So I never did it for money, right? So when I got signed to Sony Music, any artist will tell you if they're signed to a major label, they're not making any money. The label is making the money. If you look at the way royalty splits work, you're not making any money. So A, actually I'm not. And then B, when you do performances, I give majority of the money to my musicians. They have a right. That's their job. They're playing tabla full time. They're guitarists full time. Why shouldn't they be paid for that, right? And actually, why shouldn't I be? Because if you're going to pay an artist to sing about, you know, sex or taking their clothes off or like romance and love, why aren't you paying someone who is teaching you something higher or singing about love or singing about values? Why not? In fact, you should be paying them more. They're teaching you something really beautiful, no?
But then what pops into my mind is religion for sale?
Isn't everything in life for sale? Are we not selling absolutely everything? You can go to the Gurdwara, but who's running that Gurdwara? How is that Gurdwara making money? How is that Gurdwara paying for its?
But I'm saying like selling an album.
Yeah,
that's a devotional music. I'm not trying to get at you.
No, I know. It's like, a debate. It's a debate. Like, I know you're not, by the way.
It's not. I'm not even debating, but literally, like, it's a devotional album.
Yeah,
it's for sale.
Yeah, it's for sale, but that's
selling religion.
But that's how, when you go to a bookshop and you buy the Bhagavad Gita, you're paying to buy that book. You're selling that. When Hare Krishnas are sitting in the subway station in New York saying, hey, read the Bhagavad Gita, read the Bhagavad Gita, they are selling our religion. They are doing that, right? When the gurus go around and they're on Instagram telling a story about karma yoga or bhakti yoga or whatever it is, they're selling their religion. People are selling everything at any point in time. That is the capitalist world. You will always see that happening. As I said, it's less about the selling of it, it's about the intention behind it. You know, are you selling it because you just want to make a ton of money? Or are you selling something because you want to share it, you want to spread it, you want to bring this type of music into people's lives, you want to make it more accessible, right? How are you doing it, and with what energy are you doing something? And I think that makes a difference. Everybody has the right to earn, and everybody has the right to follow what in Sanskrit we call it your swabhav, what you are naturally inclined to. If you are naturally inclined to speaking of faith, great, offer it to the world. If you're naturally inclined to speaking of something else, great. But whatever you offer, you have to be able to sustain a life. And if you are to share it with the masses, you have to be able to earn from it. And when you earn from it, you invest it back into that art. You know, I'm not driving a Lambo.
Came on the train, guys. I came
on the train, and then I walked the 25 minutes. Okay,
she did. So, Shivali, you were signed to Sony Music India at 22. How was that?
Yeah, well, I'm only 24 now, so.
But she went so she had the guys.
It was, look, as I said to you, I didn't plan on being a singer. I just wanted to share devotional music with as many people as possible in a format that they could embrace and that could bring more of the youth into spirituality. So when I went to India and I was only there on holiday, I did not expect to walk out with a record deal. But that's why I truly do believe that, yes, you have to put a lot of hard work and discipline into the things that you want in life. But also you have to leave space to be surprised because the universe will surprise you. And I do think the universe or God or whatever it is will open doors that you were not even banging against. And so that door just opened for me. And Sony Music India, I mean, obviously it's one of the best record labels in the world. I was very privileged to be signed to them. And they had a lot of faith in my idea. And at that time, to embrace something that was not Bollywood was great because a lot of artists don't get any recognition, or at least at that time didn't get much recognition. They were just playback singers, right? And some people would not even know like who has sung that song. It would just be like, oh, that's Madhuri's song, or that's Shah Rukh's song.
They're associated with the actress.
Exactly, exactly. And we have such talent in India of these musicians. And so I really applaud Sony Music for embracing something that was completely different. I think 80% of Indian listeners in India actually listen to religious music, to devotional music. So there was a massive market there. And also I was creating something that had never been done before.
What was the reaction like in India compared to the UK?
So obviously, I think India they embraced it. Firstly, the first album was nominated for 2 Global Indian Music Awards. So they did embrace it. There was obviously this commentary like, okay, her accent is so English, and or why is she saying it this way? And I'm like, look, I'm born and raised in the UK, right? But I'm embracing my culture and I'm embracing my faith. If the same thing was sung by a Caucasian,
they would love it.
They would love it. They'd be like, oh, embracing our culture. Exactly. Oh. And I'm like, listen, you're going to applaud the white person. And when an Indian Hindu girl of origin from the UK is embracing her own culture again, what, you're going to suddenly point fingers at her? saying that this isn't perfect. This is, of course it's not. You know, Hindi is my third language after Gujarati, and English is my first.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of that. But actually, on the whole, they thought it was really cool because India's been, you know, it was very much influenced by the West. And of course, because of colonialization, you have this sort of identity crisis at times in India, and they want to embrace like the more Western ways. So a lot of my cousins aren't necessarily very cultured or very religious or anything like that. They're not vegetarian or they don't go to Garba. And obviously they see me doing these things. And actually they, you know, India sort of embraced that, hey, a British girl is actually finding interest in all these things. Is that not worth something when our own children are not?
Yeah,
So
that's so true.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Bollywood. Being in India, what was that like? Did you get offers from Bollywood? Did you ever consider it?
You know, maybe if I had like my nose done or look different. No, yes, at time I there was some interest, but
did you had to compromise? You have had to compromise yourself.
Yes.
Yes. In what way?
In a way that has led to the entire Me Too movement. I think I would have been compromised, and I was not willing to bend my principles or value system for anyone or anything.
Yeah.
You know, my father has always lived by this one statement, which is that nobody can ever buy you, no price. And I am not up for sale for anyone. So there are lines that I simply would not cross. And that might have cost me in terms of fame and Bollywood and a great future. And maybe the industry has changed.
Yeah.
But going back to those years, it certainly...
And this is when you were 22.
Yeah. Also, I don't look very good. I think so. I look like such a baby. You know, I had like these like big, like fluffy cheeks. I look
They look that look.
No, they really did. No, I was told to lose weight.
Oh.
I was told to, you know, I was told a whole bunch of things. I was told what to wear, what to do.
So did they want you to act, dance, or be a playback singer?
No. I was a recording artist. So I was there to, like, perform and sing. I'd never danced while I was singing because I think you don't really, I did in my music videos, but you don't really dance full out when you're singing Devotional.
Exactly.
Right? So you do like a little bit, but it was all very tasteful. Sony Music were very protective, and for that I love them.
So how long did you actually stay in India?
I stayed a couple of years, and then I always felt I wanted to come home. I missed jacket potato and beans and, you know, Home and Away on Channel 5. I wanted to come home. And I came back, and then I started working on my second album because all my music was produced in the UK.
So I want to pick your brains about something about Bollywood. So playback singers, like you said, they don't get the credit, especially back then.
Yeah.
They don't get the flowers they deserve. What are your thoughts on that? Because like you said, we do associate songs with the actors.
Yeah.
At like the awards, it's always the actors that are dancing to those songs.
Yeah.
We very rarely get to see the actual singers. Why is that?
I think it's because of the way traditional Bollywood films have been structured, right? They're musicals, but obviously the actors and actresses can't sing, so that's why. And they are the face. And I get it. I actually understand it. But I think separately, India should have embraced a fully independent music industry that allows all these artists and singers to flourish within their own right. And of course, some of them have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Lata Mangeshkar, you know, Sonu Nigam, A.R. Rahman is just like God, right?
Exactly.
I mean, he's fabulous. Shreya Ghoshal. So now you are seeing that. Do I think we should see far more of it? Yes. Do I think we should be embracing Indian bands? And absolutely.
Because when, like, just being from the UK, our music industry is so distinctive. You know who the music artist is, right? They're in a complete different industry, even in the US. And in India, even this, like the musicians, the artists, we just associate them with Bollywood.
Yeah.
And I feel like they probably are independent artists out of there. They're just not getting the recognition they should get.
Of course. I remember, so when my first album came out, I was across all sort of the major newspapers, and I was so young, I wasn't really aware of what I was saying, right? And so I remember, I think it was the Mumbai Mirror, and I get a call from like someone in PR, and they're like, Shivali, have you opened the newspaper? It is like you blasting that you don't want Katrina Kaif, dancing to your songs. And I was like, oh, whoops. Did I say that? It was literally like,
not Katrina.
And then like, yeah, Katrina Kaif cannot dance to my song. I was like, oh dear. And then like, it's fine. It's like, all press is good press. It's fine.
What did you actually say though?
I don't think I said that. Firstly, Katrina Kaif's awesome. I did not say that. I think what I said was that I don't want an actress mouthing W. I don't know what you call it. Lip syncing. That's it. To my songs when I can do this myself.
Yeah.
I can act, I can sing, I can dance.
Yeah. So why would you have someone?
Why? Exactly. I want to represent my own music. I want to be the face of my work. It belongs to the artist. And that's coming from the West. We have that mentality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like the same time when I had my physical CD, my 2 physical CDs, and I had such love, and I was so proud to hold them and to see them in the stores. And that's also something that's changed for artists, right? When my 3rd album came out this February, it was the first time I didn't have a physical product. And I was like, where is it? Where's my product?
Do I hold?
It was really hard. These are hard adjustments for artists.
Times have really changed now. We have TikTok. Marketing's changed. The way that even artists are marketing themselves is completely different to what it was like back in the day. Everyone wants a viral song. So that transition for you as an artist, where you've started, where you were getting signed, you were getting physical albums in your hand, you're doing the graph.
Yeah.
That changed now.
Yeah.
What's that like for you? Because now I feel like artists are just looking, make the next viral
horrible.
They just want things to be quick, snappy. Let's get this out there. This is going to trend.
Yeah.
Whereas people aren't making whole albums anymore. People used to take months to make albums, years even.
Yeah. It's true. I started my first album when I was 15 years old, Arjun and I sitting in his bedroom as kids on a Saturday making music. That's when our journey first began. So it is really hard. And actually, it's a conversation he and I have all the time, because there's this constant pressure to put things out. As soon as my album came out, which was in February, I was getting questions like, oh, this was great. So when's the next album? I'm like, are you joking? People used to come out with albums like every couple of years.
Yeah, years.
This wasn't. You have to like really feel it and think about it, and you have to. Artists, true creatives, do not just keep pumping stuff out. That is not how we're made. We have to be in a certain mood, a certain zone, like time and place in our life, and things have to unfold in a very natural way. And social media has just completely ruined that, and I'm not anti-social media. I'm just saying that it has changed a lot of things for traditional artists, because we do not want to be making quick, short videos and bursts of this and bursts of that, because traditional artists have trained in a different way, where we spend a lot of time, discipline and commitment for months minimum before we do something, or even allow anyone else to see it, because there is so much pride and also respect in what we want to showcase and how we want to show it. It is so meaningful to us that it has to be of a certain level. Now you can just see anything on social media. People are putting anything up, whether it's done well or not, it doesn't matter. Content is constantly being thrown in your face. And that's really tough. I mean, when my second out, I didn't even think Instagram was around.
Yeah. And that's a good point, actually. They're pushing out content rather than art. And I think for artists, you know, that is your art. But as the consumer, we're seeing it as content.
Yeah.
And I even remember just like when I was younger, there used to be such a hype when there was a new album coming out. And like I remember Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday Reloaded, like when that was coming out, I was so excited on the day it came out. I made my dad drive me to Asda. So I could buy it, made him put it in the car, but you would enjoy it. And I remember like, I wasn't ever thinking, okay, when's the next one?
Right, exactly. Like same, like I went to, I'm really going to show all that. I went to Usher's signing for 8701. You don't even know. No, that is, anyway, you know what? Anyway, 8701, it is a great album by Usher. And I went to HMV on Oxford Street and met him. And I still listen to the 8701 Usher album from beginning to end. I can still listen to Craig David's Born to Do It beginning to end. I can still listen to like Destiny's Child, Survivor beginning to end. Like,
I love that. I used to perform to that album.
Yeah, like
in the living room.
You live these albums, right? Yeah. So a lot of my fans actually say to me, they're like, "Oh yeah, we love your second album, we love your third album, but your first album, oh my god, you just like lived that album." And of course they did, because it was playing in their car every day or in their homes, and
you used to have it on replay.
Yeah, you'd have it, and that's how you really form a bond with that music. And now you can't form these bonds. To be honest, you can't form these bonds with anything. Just think about it. Even look at where dating has gone and app style dating and swipe culture. You don't have any opportunity to
people's attention span. Right. TikTok has ruined it. Right. They can't even sit through a 3-minute video anymore.
Exactly. You're not living any relationship, whether it be with music, art, theatre, or, you know, some people can't even watch a full episode on television anymore. Full series. They like, you know, forward or whatever it is, or they need to constantly change this channel and things like that. We don't have the ability to give our attention to something. And when you can't give your full attention to something, you will never get the best out of it. That is in anything you do in life.
You know, when you were saying earlier that...
sounds so old, don't I?
It's what I had to tell you. When I was older, I had to trek to school. I was climbing up mountains. It's one of them. No, but... So your relationship with God, and that's the basis of everything you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So the music you're producing, the art, is very special to you. You put everything into this, right? And now, like we're talking about, the culture of how we're receiving content is so different. Do you ever get offended that people maybe aren't appreciating or listening to the music the way you would have hoped?
I think when people listen to my music, they still listen to it with that same intention. Because honestly, otherwise you wouldn't be listening to my music.
That's true.
Because it's mantras, because it's very old bhajans that people have grown up on, but obviously, in contemporary format. But it's so familiar to people, and it means so much to them because they've had their grandparents sing it, or their parents, or whatever it is. They have some association at the Gurdwara or at the Mandir, whatever it is. And so I think I'm very lucky, because I think actually that's the beauty of devotional music, is that it's evergreen. God doesn't go out of fashion. I mean, maybe religion's going out of fashion. People are talking about spirituality, but actually spirituality is just religion repackaged. It's the same thing. And it's always in vogue because it's just trying to make you feel good. That's the only purpose of it, is like, hey, if you're having a bit of a crappy day, you listen to a mantra, you listen to a bhajan, and suddenly you feel uplifted. And you can, wipe that dust off your shoulder. It's a Jay-Z reference. No.
I'm not that young, guys. I'm 37.
Do you know the Jay-Z reference?
I know Jay-Z.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk about TikTok.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt the pressures of kind of making a viral track or making one of your songs go viral, even though essentially they're religious?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought like this needs to pop on there?
No, because I didn't do it for money, my friend, and I didn't do it to be commercial. So maybe I should have that strategy, but I haven't, because as I told you, when I got signed, I felt the universe and God just opened the door for me. And so if it's meant to go viral, it will. If it's meant to do really well, it will. I am not going to go around like, trying to artificially create a situation to get me fame. It's not about that.
What about like pressures from your label or your management? Because they want to push you. They do, and they have other ways of doing things, and they want you to try new things.
They do, but labels have changed. So when in my first album, yes, it was more like that because they were managing me. Now the way that record deals are structured is slightly different. So they might not invest as much money in it, but that means they don't have as much influence and they don't like tell you to do certain things. And also, I mean, no one can tell me what to do.
Love that.
It's so hard. I'll be like, why? But why? Really?
Which is good, I guess, because some people would just succumb to whatever is going to get them the fame, the clout, whatever you want to call it.
But I don't. I'm born out of love and I'm content. I've never done anything for fame or money, or I don't need that to feel full, right? Anybody who's chasing fame or trying to become a celebrity overnight or whatever it is, that's based on something internal that you haven't managed to heal or deal with, right? I don't believe that you should ever look for fame or chase things like that. I think what you should do is look to understand your purpose in life and look to share that purpose and vision with others, and then accept whatever consequence comes from that. If fame comes, great. If it doesn't, also great. Have a sort of balanced mindset, because life is very fragile.
Yeah.
And no matter what you attain, whether it's wealth or fame, we know that it's never going to fill that hole inside of you. So you have to be based on something with more substance.
Wise words again. So your last album came out in Feb. And we all know what that means. That means promos, shows. You must be so busy. What's coming up next?
So now it's going to be busy because now it's festival season.
Yeah.
So we've got Janmashtami coming up. We do a big festival at the Hare Krishna Temple in Watford. It's one of the biggest festivals in the country, I think, that happens. So I always try and perform there.
Yeah.
And I do it for free because it's seva.
Yes, guys, it's seva.
Seva. So, and that's my mandir. So I'll do anything for them at any point in time. And so I've got that coming up. Then I've got Shivali in concert in New York. I'm doing like a 2-hour and a half concert in Manhattan. That's going to be great, where I'll be going through a lot of my music, from all 3 albums, really.
Yeah.
And when I do these concerts, I try and talk about the story behind each bhajan, so that it becomes relatable, right?
Yeah.
And then you can remember it. Stories are fun, right?
It's more of an experience rather than you just thinking,
Yes. It's a mindful bhajan workshop, yeah. And then I'm going to the Netherlands and to Rotterdam, and I'm doing a show where I'm storytelling love stories from Hindu mythology. Yeah, so we have a lot of love stories within Hinduism, and they all basically teach you how to love unconditionally, and how to bring sort of a divine love into your romantic relationships.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then I'm doing Diwali in Times Square, which is fun. That's my first time in Times Square. Yes, and that's obviously in Manhattan, and that's going to be great. I'm going to have backing dancers.
Oh my God. That's going to be like a whole...
Yeah, it's going to be a show. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds good. If you're taking me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Have you ever performed in New York before?
Yeah, loads. I lived in New York. So I live between New York and London. I belong to both countries.
Love
American. So yes, I performed a lot in the US. I've got a strong fan base there. After UK, US is my biggest market.
What's like the cultural differences in the UK and US?
I would say in terms of Asians, like American Asians versus British Asians. Well, they call themselves ABCDs, right? American born confused theses.
Oh wow.
And they are.
Have an identity crisis over there.
I think, you know what, they're slightly more removed from India because, they're further away. And also, everything's like quite spread out. So I think they have less opportunity to have the same sort of BritAsia identity that we have. But, they're working on themselves.
They've got this. You're there. It's fine. All right. It's time for a quick fire with Nae.
Okay.
So, if you're hosting a dinner, you can invite 5 guests, dead or alive. Who are you inviting?
5 guests, dead or alive. And I assume they have to be, celebrities?
Though it can be anyone.
It can be anyone.
Anyone.
Okay. It will be, I have a favorite barrister, so he would be on top of my list. And then I would have both my grandfathers. I would have Frida Kahlo, the Mexican painter. She would definitely be there. And then I think I would have my dad. I haven't cooked for him.
Oh, that is a wholesome table.
Yeah. A bit of a weird one.
That's a really wholesome table.
I just realised it's all men apart from Frida Kahlo and me.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, if you were to collab with someone, who would your dream collab be?
Pharrell. Yeah, it would be Pharrell producing it, and me and Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill and I, actually, on the track. Yeah.
That would be an insane track.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. So this might be a difficult one. Not a difficult one, but because of your niche.
Yeah.
So the question is, if you could Men in Black a song, the clicky thing, erase someone from
if I could erase someone from my memory.
Erase a song of yours that you're not too happy with. If you could go...
I can't erase a Bhajan.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
I know. How am I going to answer that? You can't erase. There's God's name in every song. How can I do that?
If you could... All right, let's not erase.
Okay.
If you could change the way...
I produced it.
Yeah.
Hey Ram, there's this song on the first album that Arjun and I listened to, and we're like, we really produced that. Like, maybe we should revisit that one. It's actually done really well, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, I think
you were learning.
Yeah. We put a lot of instruments in that. We're like tambourine. There's like shakers,
everything. Okay, what's the weirdest food combination that you like?
The weirdest food combination? Oh, I'm not very weird. Oh God, I don't have. Can you change that to something else? I don't even have any weird food combinations.
And I think
I'll tell you something weird. Should I just tell you something weird that I used to eat?
Yeah.
I used to eat Vaseline out of the tub when I was a kid. Yeah. Like literally.
How old were you?
Like, the way Krishna like eats mutton and would go like this?
Yeah.
I would do that with Vaseline. And I'd hide it.
How old were you?
I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8. My dad had to tell me to stop. My mom tried, I didn't listen, but my dad was like, stop it.
So you were getting through tubs and tubs. This was like,
I loved it.
It was under your bed.
Vaseline is so good.
Oh my God.
I also used to love the smell of the back of a Hoover.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that
okay, you know where I think we should move on. Let's quick.
Okay, what's your guilty pleasure?
Like guilty.
I mean, I can't say Vaseline.
Oh, my guilty pleasure. I don't. Oh God, I'm so good. I don't have many. Oh, I love chocolate. No, like I really, really
love chocolate.
Really love, like to the point that I could have an addiction. So I've been trying to not a real addiction, but I'm really trying to cut down. Yeah.
What's the worst chat-up line that's ever been used on you?
The worst chat-up line that has ever been used on me. Oh, I mean, I don't think it was a chat up line, but once a guy was like, "Oh, I really love your Hanuman Chalisa," which is this really famous mantra, like it's a prayer on my first album. It's like, "Oh, I really love your Hanuman Chalisa. Can you come home and sing it to my grandparents?" And I was like, "Well, not today."
That is very creepy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
think
we never-
God to slide in there? No.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it when people use my music to chat me up. I think that's very weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, what's your favourite childhood movie?
The Little Mermaid.
Oh, have you watched the remake?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought I wouldn't, but I was very impressed. But yeah, I love The Little Mermaid. And I watched Dil To Pagal Hai, this Bollywood film, like 37 times.
I love Shah Rukh Khan anyway, so yeah. Amazing film.
So glad you remember.
Remember, that's the love of my life. He was my first love. Okay, what's your biggest ick?
Like in what way?
What's your biggest ick about something? What just really makes you feel icky?
I really don't like it when people interrupt people speaking. I find that like quite gross. I'm like, let them finish their sentence. I also really don't like it when you're talking to two people. Say like you're talking to someone else and me, but you don't give equal distribution of eye contact between the two people.
I get that.
That I really don't like.
So those are your icks.
Yeah, I think that I also don't like it when people make a lot of noise when they're eating.
Oh, I hate
Like,
the smacking. I can't.
yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like it if guys have too much gel in their hair. I think that's a bit weird.
I hate when they've got that. You know Salman Khan in Tere Naam?
No.
You haven't watched that movie?
Tere Naam? No.
It's when he goes to the mental institution, whatever. His hair is so disgusting and greasy.
Yeah.
And he's got it parted in the middle.
Yeah.
It's like cut hair and there's just so much gel in there. It's disgusting. Well, you know that barcode hairstyle?
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Splitting the bill.
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm like, either I'll get it or you get it. Like, let's not embarrass each other. Let's not be like, I'm going to pay my £14.50. You better pay your £14.
You know what I don't like? This is even with like friends. If you're like, okay, like you'll get this, I'll get this. And then I'll message you later, like, can you transfer me that £4.20 that you owe me? I'm like,
that gives you the ick.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like,
no, but I'd want my £4.50.
You've got the drinks, I've got the food.
Yeah.
Why do you need your £4.20 now?
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we ramble on, where can people find you?
Everywhere. Google, Spotify.
You're the first person that said Google. Oh my God.
I mean, Google me. Just Google me. No, Spotify, Apple Play, iTunes, shivali.co.uk, Shivali Bhammer on Instagram. Everywhere.
Find you everywhere, guys. It's been amazing having you on. We've had some great discussions, I think.
Yeah.
And you guys can catch me next week at the same time. Until then, keep it locked to BritAsia TV.